What's up, guys? Good morning. 12th of May. Wick, what's up? Of course. Well, yeah, you hit those emotes every single time, dude, right? Like, that's your jam, man. Unless you actually need to hit that emote, then you won't get it, right? That's the way it works. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good morning. Good to see you. Good to be here. Valheim today. It's Valheim Day. Now, Wick, you took off today, right? You took off today, Wick? Today was the day to take off, right? That's how it works. All right. Whoa. Cool. Good to see everybody. Good morning. So we will be getting Yeah. We'll be getting Valheim going. Let's do what we do every day and hop into our gaming news segment, right? See what we can find, stay current about the industry that we love. Before we get into our gaming segment, all right? So, let's take a look. There we go. Let me get my camera out of the way. Oh, man. All right. Well, right off the bat, I see some all the Switch games. Surprise release today after the Nintendo Indie Showcase, I think. Nintendo Showcase standout Gunbrella. See what that's about. Also, Nintendo says the transition to its next major console is a major concern. Okay. So 3 articles right off the bat. We already talked yesterday about FIFA. EA no longer is in cahoots with FIFA to make that game, but EA is going to continue to make the game, just call it something else, right? But FIFA will now be collaborating with a different developer to get FIFA made. So, ultimately, we will have now 2 soccer games. What's up, Kayla? How are you, my friend? It's good to see you this morning. So, yeah, that's what we'll be working with now. As far as the soccer, the main soccer games go on in the gaming world. Yeah, so FIFA is pivoting, a new developer, but EA will continue to make their game, which they're going to call what was it? Can't remember now. So this year's FIFA will still be coming out, but EA Sports FC will now be the soccer game EA creates. It'll no longer have the FIFA branding on it. We hit the article yesterday. I'm not going to dive into it. We hit the article yesterday, so if you're interested, go check out that VOD on YouTube. Okay. So we hit on this last week, right? About the only company that had really spoken out about the Roe versus Wade stuff was Bungie. They were getting a lot of blowback about making their stance on that situation public, but I actually commend them for showing that they have values important to their company and making that stance. So we'll take and look again. This is not a huge, we're not a political platform or anything, but this is a big piece of current events. What's going on, especially in the U.S. Yeah, and it's good to see companies that aren't afraid to speak up about the values that they have for their company, right? If you don't have values and you don't make those known within your corporation, I feel like it's much easier for a business to fall into some traps of bad, management styles and toxic environments and stuff like we've seen with other companies such as Blizzard and Microsoft as of recent, or Blizzard and Activision. I apologize. Microsoft is the one acquiring them. So we'll take a quick look. Again, this isn't political channel. We're not going to dive in. Too many people get upset about the political stuff, so there are certain topics we try to stay away from. But we'll take a quick look and see what these other companies are that are kind of making a stance here, yeah? Okay, 10 more days to get your 3DS and Wii U eShop games. Nintendo is taking that shop away. Feels bad. We've already got this article pulled up. We'll see what that's about. We read about this yesterday too. What is it? San Francisco State University is actually teaching classes about video game music composition, which is really cool. It's really good. We read about that yesterday. If you're interested, check out yesterday's news segment, okay? Lawsuit claiming Steam gives Valve too much power is moving forward after all. Let's take a look at what that's about. What? Elden Ring player spends hours hiding in a bush to hose an AFK farmer. Okay, let's see what that's about. Okay, yeah, let me pull up Epic real quick. So I'm not going to pull this article up, but I'll go ahead and show everybody. As far as free games go for Epic right now, Terraforming Mars will be finished this morning in like roughly 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. Sorry, I got stun locked. So if you want Terraforming Mars, you need to go grab it. If you're, it's a free game. It's a free game. Get your free games. And then this morning, it'll switch over to having Jotun and Prey both for free, okay? So don't forget to get your free games. I don't think I got that eyelash out, man. Feels bad. Ow! All right. Finally, this is one of the big things. This is one of the big asks from the community of people that actually got Steam Decks, right? Whenever they first came out, it was there have been really, really good impressions of the Steam Deck so far, but one of the big asks from people that owned the console, the handheld, that it was the battery life wasn't superb, and part of that was because if you didn't have the device plugged in, you couldn't have per like profile set up for each game, right? So if you wanted to play the game on the go or whatever, it wouldn't just automatically switch to a more less power hungry kind of optimization, right? Well, it looks like they're finally adding that. So we'll take a look at this. RIP iPod, home of the mobile gaming renaissance. All right, let's take a look. There we go again. EA Sports loses FIFA license. Yeah. Ubisoft confirms 3 major games it plans on releasing by March 2023. Are they doing Avatar? Is Ubisoft doing Avatar? That's what this looks like. We'll see. I know an Avatar game's coming out, or it's been in the works for a while. It looks like Amazon's going to have some deals on gaming chairs ahead of Prime Day. We'll take a quick glance there in case anybody's in the market. Lots of articles this morning. It's good. It's good. 8 Steam Deck verified games for $20. We'll see what that's about. Games lawsuit filed in California over alleged. Looks like this has something to do with the grading of vintage video games for sale. So we'll see what that's about as well. Twitter made a video game? Did anybody know this? Twitter made a video game. Okay. Well, we'll see what that's about. What am I doing? Stop it. Okay. We've already got this article pulled up. Metroid Dread is now the series' best-selling video game. Really? Okay. Take a quick look. We've talked about Netflix a lot. I'm not going to dive into that. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll let you know what's going on with Netflix right now, but otherwise I'm not going to dive into it. Okay, a lot of this we've seen. Yep. Nice, nice. We've already talked about the Hall of Fame as well. You can see that man. How long ago was that? Last week? No, beginning of this week, probably. Beginning of this week, in the previous YouTube videos for the news segments. We've already talked a lot about this too. Square Enix selling off some of their franchises, as well as their North American devs. Let me know if you have questions about that, or you can find it in the previous videos, previous news segments. When is E3? Date, time, where to stream Summer Game Fest. I thought E3 wasn't being held. Am I thinking of a different one? I haven't had enough coffee, I think. We already talked about this too. PlayStation set up a new preservation team for their older games. Cool. Let's jump into these articles. Let's jump in here. So right off the bat, as Roe versus Wade repeal looms, video game industry stays mostly silent. We'd already hit on this a little bit about Bungie being relatively the only dev or especially well-known dev that was being outspoken about their stance in regards to this issue. And I'll say up front, it looked like they were getting a lot of blowback from people saying, you're a game dev, you shouldn't be involved in this, and I disagree. It's good to see these companies not being afraid to show that they have some values regarding things outside of just gaming, right? Show that they have a stance and values for people and their workers and stuff like that. I think it's good. In the wake of a leaked draft Supreme Court opinion essentially confirmed that Roe versus Wade's days are numbered, most of the video game industry's biggest companies have remained conspicuously quiet, though not at all Shortly after Politico first reported on the leaked Supreme Court date of May 2nd, Sony purchased Destiny 2 studio Bungie published a statement in support of reproductive rights, calling Roe v. Wade's demise a blow to freedom in America and a direct attack on human rights, and prompting fans to donate to reproductive rights-focused organizations. In the following days, indie developers and a handful of other studios like Psychonauts 2 creator Double Fine and Guild Wars developer ArenaNet published brief statements of their own. A handful of workers also told the Post they would participate in a week-long Mother's Day strike amid aimed at protesting the potential overturn of Roe v. Wade, with permission from their companies to stop work this week. But the majority of gaming's heaviest hitters appear to have kept both their mouths and wallets closed. This silence is especially conspicuous following the industry's near unilateral support of causes like Black Lives Matter in the wake of George Floyd's murder and anti-Asian hate as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. In both of those cases, many big companies released statements, donated to charitable causes, updated internal policies, and added in game features to allow players to express their support. The Washington Post contacted 20 major video game companies about whether they plan to make a statement regarding Roe's potential repeal or provide employees with monetary aid in places where abortions would no longer be available. Only Microsoft and Activision Blizzard responded with statements. Microsoft will continue to do everything we can under the law to protect our employees' rights and support employees and their enrolled dependents in accessing critical health care, which already includes services like abortion and gender-affirmed care, regardless of where they live across the U.S. Read the statement issued to the Post. The support is being extended to include travel expense assistance for these and other medical services where access to care is limited and availability in an employee's home geographic region. Other tech behemoths like Amazon, Tesla, Lyft, and Uber have also promised monetary aid and, in some cases, legal protection to employees in states that will no longer offer abortions. Since 1973, Roe v. Wade has protected the rights of Americans to receive an abortion. Once it is overturned, the decision of how to handle abortion up to and including potential criminalization will move to the state level. You know, one of the things that's really funny, it's not funny. This is not a funny situation here at all. But what I'll say is, it's if you remember whenever, like when marijuana started becoming legalized at the state level, the federal government threw a fit. And they started, it first started out in California. And it was like this whole battle from the state level fighting the government, you know, and state government fighting the federal government. There would be these shops, right, that had been legalized by the state to start dispensing medical marijuana, but the feds didn't like it. So there would be this situation outside these dispensaries where the federal government would be trying to come in to shut them down, and they'd be blocked off by state officials, it was a really weird situation. But now we're in a situation where the federal government's like, we're not going to be responsible for this anymore. You guys handle it on a state level. Yeah. Not that those are these are much different issues, right? But funny how that, you know, what the issue is about has changed the way the federal government wants to deal with it, right? Already, a number of red states like Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, and Texas will have indicated that they will functionally ban abortion, while blue states like California and Vermont are moving to codify abortion as a constitutional right. An ABC News Washington Post poll found that only 28% of those surveyed supported the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. The independent studio Certain Affinity, which has worked on major games like Halo Infinite, is based in Texas, a state that has already significantly restricted access to abortion. Still, Max Haberman, the company's CEO, said the Roe versus Wade news took him by surprise. Absolutely take a strong stance on this. We will consider how to best support our staff who may be affected. We haven't had a chance to get out in front of messaging or strategy yet. Caught us a bit off guard. Hoberman told the Post. We're still an independent company with limited resources. The response to Bungie's post might offer a clue as to why some companies remain mum on the matter. Gamers have a tendency to bristle at issues pertaining to women, both in-game and out, as evidenced by regular online blow-ups against prominent women in the industry pioneered by 2014's Gamergate movement, and a series of recent scandals surrounding sexism and corporate culture within companies like Activision Blizzard and Ubisoft, as well as on live streaming platforms like Twitch. Bungie's own history is not bereft of such controversy, with IGN publishing a report last year in which current and former employees alleged a boys' club culture. That culture, says employees who've spoken to the Post, has since improved, but truly pervasive fixes take time. Yeah. On Twitter, thousands of people replied to Bungie's statement about reproductive rights, with some angrily chastising the studio for being too political. As a result, companies tend to carefully consider responses in cases like these where they respond at all. The thing is, and I think more people are starting to realize this, when it comes to issues within your own, wherever you live, and whatever organization resides over, governmentally over that area, if you don't speak out, yo, Mamzelle, what's going on? How are you? If you don't speak out about the things that are trying to be imposed, you're just letting it happen, right? If it's something that goes against your views and beliefs and you don't speak up about it, you don't do anything about it, then you're just allowing those agencies or governmental organizations to basically do what they want, and it shows them that they can basically do what they want without people taking a stance. Yeah. So again, this is not a political platform, but this is an important situation here that has to do with gaming, because it shows how few of these agencies are willing to actually push out their views on the situation, as opposed to some other stuff that have happened, like we talked about earlier with the Black Lives Matter stuff, anti-Asian hate. A lot of companies were very willing to open up and show their stance and be in support of these things, right? But when it comes to this, the Roe versus Wade stuff, almost none of them are. So and the thing is, a lot of these bigger companies, they have a very big platform, and obviously you're not going to appeal to everybody with your views, right? And your values. But Bungie really led the way here. Bungie led the way. They let everybody know how they felt about being opposed to this, and were willing to take on basically the entire gaming community's backlash because nobody else wanted to stand up against it, right? Bungie, for its part, stood firm. We've chosen our side, and it wasn't difficult. Bungie replied to one angry tweet. Our company values exist beyond our games. And that's important, man. I think that's very important, right? To show that you're a company that actually has values, and probably very much so is cultivating a workplace based on what its employees need, right? Or the values of its employees and stuff. If they're willing to stand out and show that they have values, I think it's pretty awful that people are like demeaning them or giving them backlash over showing what values they have. Inside the company, the reaction has been mostly positive. Super awesome. They are leading the way in the industry space with a strong stance, said one current Bungie employee who, like others who spoke with the Post, did so on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the subject publicly. It's weird to me that more people aren't coming out and standing up for basic human rights. Bungie has an internal diversity committee that one current employee, yo, Metal, what's up, buddy? Characterized as instrumental in the creation of internal and external statements on Roe versus Wade's impending repeal. That employee described significant interest within the studio around the idea of monetary support for employees in places like Texas, especially now that Bungie has adopted a digital-first remote work structure, and said that Bungie is looking into it. Pretty long article, but again, it just goes to show that at least there are a couple of others. There it is in chat if you want to read the rest of it. Again, I feel like it's important, right? It shows your company that you have values, and the values there are obviously in Bungie's viewpoint, their values very much align with people's basic rights. And whether you agree or disagree with their stance, I still think it's a good thing to have companies show where their values lie and that they're committed to having some sort of ethics and morals within their workplace, which means they probably cultivate a pretty nice workplace there, more than likely. I think it's a pretty good indicator. And at least a few other, you don't know about that? Rather than a company just not showing that they have any kind of stance. I'm not saying that you have to align with their stance. I think it's probably a decent indicator. Agreed to disagree. That's fine. And at least some other companies have come out and, you know, followed them a bit. Again, I'm not speaking about directly what their stance is on either side of it. Okay. Why? Again, there's the article in chat if you want to. Okay, can you elaborate a little bit more on that then? So I'm fine to talk about it. 1 second, guys. I mean, well, I mean that's what I'm getting at as well is that as far as Bungie was concerned, it wasn't an issue for them of they knew they were going to get blowback, right? I understand where you're coming from. Bungie knew they were going to get blowback because nobody else was showing their stance, right? Um, and I mean, it is. I don't know how much I agree that that's actually cancel culture there. Taking a stance on some kind of massive, you know, thing which most people consider an infringement on people's basic human rights, showing a stance as a corporation, they knew they would be getting backlash. I talked about that before, and I understand. I understand where why some would not want to because of that. But again, I think it. What, cancel culture goes for anything political? I feel like people want to lump anybody's views in on um, their stance as being cancel culture. Again, I mean, I'll go back to what I said before. Uh, people just people, corporations, whatever, having a very passive stance instead of speaking up, I think is the wrong way to handle things. You know, it just allows these kinds of things to continue to get worse and worse whenever they think that nobody's going to have a stance. You know, so I don't know, and I guess I mean maybe Wick, what you're getting at is that it should be on an individual level rather than a corporation level. So yeah, yeah, and I mean I'll the whole mask thing was it was that was wild to me that so many people had a huge issue with not wearing them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I get that, dude. I get that. I get that. And I'm not saying that I expect. I wasn't saying that I expect every company to put their stance out there or whatever. I was just saying that I saw where Bungie knew they were going to get backlash, and I think it's commendable that they stood up for whatever they view to be, to show where their values lie, even though they knew they were going to receive that backlash. They knew it was going to affect them, but they're obviously committed to their views on this issue, and to the extent that they would rather take a hit and deal with people hitting back at them to let people know where their views lie, right? So, and like I said, I'm not getting into this about whether or not it's a Bungie's specific stance on it. That's not what I'm getting at. It's just having a stance and being committed to that stance and not being afraid to let people know. So it was that's what it was about to me. Yeah, I think most people have a this channel is not political. That's why I don't get into my own views and stuff. I don't think they feel like they have to do that. Um, I think because of their, I mean, the way you stated it there is that you feel like they felt like they had to do that. I don't think they felt like they had to do that. They did it because they're passionate about where their values lie. And they knew it wasn't necessarily going to be popular with their player base and their community and stuff, and they took a hit on it. But they were committed to it. They've got values. It shows that a company has values, man. And I'm not saying that every company that doesn't take a stance and let everybody know where their values lie doesn't have a good internal structure for management and stuff. That's not what I was getting at. So if that, well, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. And here's the thing: this is what that article really expressed as well. Is it wasn't an issue. Yeah, yeah, no, and that's not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I agree. Uh, it's just like that article stated, oh, we got lots of issues. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it wasn't. I guess what I was. It wasn't. It wasn't just this specific thing, right? I don't think it's a bad thing for a company to show that they've got some kind of values and morals and ethics and things that back up what their company's about. You know, I think it's an outward expression of showing people that they've got some values and things instilled within their corporation. I understand why companies wouldn't want to, and but I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. So I understand. I understand why it's not popular. I understand why people would rather not hear maybe a company's view, but at the same time, I see it as, at least they're standing up for what they believe in, and that's not an easy thing to do most of the time, even on a personal level. Pressure can be very bad sometimes that prevents people from actually standing up for what they believe in, and that's a very significant thing right there for Bungie to undertake, even though they knew they were going to get a lot of backlash for it. It just shows they're committed to their values. And again, not that it's the same exact situation or anything, but there were a lot of companies that were all about standing up for the Black Lives Matter stuff and there are other issues, but when it comes to something like this, a lot of crickets. So that's all I'm getting at. Yeah, but I understand. I understand your point of view on it as well, for sure. I appreciate the input. Yeah, absolutely. Get out of that. Get out of that. So 10 days remaining to buy 3DS and Wii U eShop games using a credit card. A lot of people are up in arms about this too. And yeah, you're right, dude. That is not even like like there are so many issues, man, so many issues. And it's hard not to dive into them sometimes whenever I want this to not be a political platform, and that's why I'm not pushing out like what my stance is or anything like that, how I feel about it because that's not what this place is, right? I just wanted to address what Bungie was doing specifically about standing up for their values. That's it. And what it comes off as to me. 10 days remain until we'll no longer be able to directly purchase 3DS and Wii U software from the console's digital stores with a credit card. From May 23rd, it will no longer be able to use credit cards in the stores. Nintendo announced earlier this year, meaning users will need to separately purchase and redeem physical Nintendo eShop cards in order to buy games and DLC after that date. However, from August 29th, it will no longer be possible to use eShop cards to add funds either. Users have until March 23rd to use any funds left in their account to buy content, after which it will only be possible to re-download owned software. After this point, some of Wii U's and 3DS's eShop library will still be available as physical releases or via other systems. However, as revealed by VGC analysis, up to 1,000 digital-only eShop games will effectively disappear for good. Some of the more notable Wii U downloaded only exclusives set to disappear for good include Affordable Space Adventures, Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Bits, Chasing Aurora, Dr. Luigi, The Letter, Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge, Pokemon Rumble U, Pushmo World, and Shut the Box. On 3DS, the list of games set to disappear is even larger. These include 3D enhanced re-releases of a number of classic games, including Nintendo's 3D Classic range, which offered stereoscopic versions of games like Excite Bike, Kid Icarus, and Kirby's Adventure. Kirby's Adventure Week. 11 entries in Sega's 3D Classic series will also be gone forever in the West. While there are 3 separate cartridge compilations released in Japan, only one of these was released physically in the West. Other notable examples of games set to disappear include Chibi Robo, Let's Go Photo, Dr. Mario, Miracle Cure, Mario and Donkey Kong, Minis on the Move, Mini Mario and Friends, Amiibo Challenge, Nintendo Pocket, Football Club, Picross E8, what is that? Pokemon Battle Trozy, Pokemon Link Battle in Europe, Pokemon Picross, Pushmo, Crashmo, Stretchmo, and Harmonite. Finally, the closure of the Wii U and 3DS eShops will also mean the termination of the final systems to support the Virtual Console service. Once this happens, the only retro games provided by Nintendo will be the ones available on Switch's online various apps. At the time of publishing, around 350 retro games released on 3DS and Wii U in the West are not available to play on Nintendo Switch, including over 100 Game Boy Systems games, 40 TurboGrafx 16 games, 30 DS games, and 35 Wii games. For the full list of games disappearing from the 3DS and Wii U eShops, read VGC's analysis. In case you're interested, I'll throw this in chat so you can take a look. Lawsuit claiming Steam gives Valve too much power is moving forward after all. All right, let's see what this is about. A U.S. District Court has ruled that Wolfire Games' lawsuit against Valve has merit. A U.S. District Judge has decided that an antitrust lawsuit against Valve over how it operates and uses the Steam platform can move forward. The company suing Valve, Wolfire Games, alleges that Half-Life and Portal developer uses its digital storefront and its huge amount of control over the PC gaming market to exploit publishers and consumers. As reported by Bloomberg earlier this week, U.S. District Court Judge John C. Coffiner ruled in favor of letting part of Wolfire Games' lawsuit against Valve move forward in the Western District of Washington. Judge Coffiner said it was plausible that Valve used Steam's immense size and control of the market to threaten or even punish developers that try to sell games through other platforms like the Epic Game Store or GOG. According to Judge Coffiner, Wolfire's allegations are that Valve uses a combination of written and unwritten rules to enforce control over developers, influencing how games, even non-Steam enabled ones, are sold and priced. And the judge feels that these allegations are sufficient to plausibly allege unlawful conduct. This May 6th decision is a win for Wolfire, following a previous setback in the ongoing legal case against Valve and its Steam platform. After filing the initial lawsuit last year in May, Wolfire's case against Valve was dismissed by the same judge in November. However, Wolfire was allowed to file another complaint about the issues noted in the dismissal and did so. Now, Wolfire's antitrust lawsuit will move forward in court. It wasn't a total win for Wolfire, however, as another claim in the lawsuit was dismissed. Wolfire argued that Steam operates in two markets as a gaming platform and store, and that Valve shouldn't tie them together. The judge disagreed, saying that there is no demand for consumers for a fully functional gaming platform that is separate from a store. However, the remainder of the case and its focus on Valve's alleged control of pricing and sales remains. Back in May 2021, so a year ago, Wolfire CEO David Rosen said in a blog post about the lawsuit that he had no choice but to file the suit against Valve because it had become too large and powerful in the PC gaming marketplace. As the dominant platform when developers list their games on multiple PC stores, the majority of their sales will come through Steam, wrote Rosen. Yeah? I believe this makes most developers afraid that if they don't sell on Steam, they will lose the majority of their revenue. To those developers, avoiding Steam would add unacceptable risk to the already high risk of game development in general. I believe that most developers have little or no choice but to sell on Steam and do as they're told by Valve. I mean, it's kind of the same thing as like wanting to sell a product and going anywhere else besides Amazon at this point. I mean, isn't it? I mean, there are a few other places, right, where you could probably do okay, but it's kind of like the same thing, man. I don't know. I mean, what do you want? It's the most popular place for people to go and have a library and it's got a store and. What's the solution? What's the solution? I believe that businesses are free to do whatever they want within the law. However, once a company reaches a certain level of power over an entire market, the antitrust laws forbid those companies from distorting competition. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people were up in arms even. You remember whenever Epic Game Store came out, a lot of people were like, I'm never going to use that because, and a lot of it was because they didn't want their libraries in multiple places. And I get that. what we need, and I keep saying this, what we need is an actual, like, some kind of platform or software that can take your library across all online platforms and stores and everything. Take that library, put it all into one place. And then if you go, yeah, let's check out some sales, you can have yourself logged into all these different platforms it'll connect with and show you the best prices on across all those stores for whatever game you're looking for, whatever, right? Somebody develop that, please. Just give me like a 10% cut. We'll call it cool. Anyways, it's like competition's good, right? Competition's good, and it's good that Epic's out there because the Epic store is about the only thing that comes near, as far as I can tell right now, in competition to something like Steam, yeah, and Valve, but Steam and Valve is without a doubt where most people go for their games, their PC games. I don't know. It's like I don't know I don't know what to say about this. Really, like, what's the solution? What do you want? I mean, are they just trying to make it to where, I guess, where Steam can't be as restrictive on developers and stuff with how much they have to be charged for putting their games on there? Whatever. I mean, I don't know if you're going to get that to actually come to fruition, man. Um, Steam has put itself in a really good position. I'm not saying it's right, but they put themselves in a very good position as far as what their platform offers, and it's very, very popular. So, unless somebody comes up with something better, I don't know that you can actually do anything about it. I mean, I guess if they get told by the law or whatever that they can only do so much, I guess, but I don't know. Um, Elden Ring player spends hours hiding in a bush to hose an AFK farmer. This is actually hilarious. I'm easily irritated and occasionally petty, and I think I have a new hero. An Elden Ring player who spent literally hours hiding in a bush just to mess with an AFK farmer who pissed him off. AFK farming in Elden Ring works like this. Players use Torrent, the horse goat, to get places that can't be reached on foot. Then use the Taunter's Tongue item to summon other players into their game, purportedly for PvP combat. But because Torrent isn't available in multiplayer, the invited combatants can't reach the farmer. When they eventually give up and disconnect, the farmer gets some runes for the victory, even if they're alt-tabbed out of the game or out of the room entirely. Oh, that's dirty, man. Some players are able to reverse farm the AFK farmers, but Tessnarker took it a step further. After invading an AFK farmer 5 times in a row, as they put it, they decided that something needed to be done to halt the shenanigans. The farmer was out of reach, couldn't be dealt with directly, so T-Snarker took a different approach. After 4 pointless invasions, I'd had enough. They wrote on Reddit, I decided this host wouldn't get a single rune more from me. So when Hunter showed up, I ran away and put on the Mimic's Veil in a bush, and I hid there. The bush enfolded and protected me. And then they refused to leave. The Mimic's Veil in Elden Ring is a multiplayer item that enables players to mimic nearby objects, not unlike the Typhon mimics in Prey. It is an important piece of the puzzle here because it means that invaders, in this particular case, T-Snarker, can much more effectively hide from hunters, other Elden Ring players who are summoned to help the victim during an invasion. AFK farmers get nothing when hunters give up and leave. It's only when the invader is dealt with one way or another that runes are earned. By refusing to leave, T-Snarker was ensuring that the AFK farmer was wasting their time. The obvious downside of the strategy is that it requires the invader to stay connected in order to deny the farmer their ill-gotten runes. But that's apparently not a problem for T-Snarker, who claimed to have been in the game for 3 hours when they posted about it. Since then, I've seen entire generations of hunters and invaders come and go, and throughout it all, I've remained in the bush, they wrote. This bush is my home now. I'm not coming out. You can't make me come out. As a nice bonus, T-Snarker is even earning a few runes for their trouble. AFK farming the AFK farmer, as they put it. Every time a hunter gets killed or disconnects, I get runes and a furrowed finger, they said. And the host is going to come back to fewer runes than he was expecting because one of his invader slots is being permanently taken up by me, crouching in my bush. I like it in here. There are rocks and leaves, and sometimes a bug flies by to keep me company. If you invade an AFK farmer and have some time on your hands, I fully recommend doing this, but you have to pick a different bush. This one is mine. This your special bush? It's possible that this tale of an invader and his bush is apocryphal. I'm not familiar with that word. T Snarker even hinted at it, saying in an update that people who question his claim of being in that bush, even at this very moment, probably got a kick out of telling all the other kids there was no Santa Claus. But even if it is, I don't mind. It's funny, it's cranky, and it's absolutely the sort of penny ante hose job that AFK farmers deserve. I don't do much Elden Ring multiplayer. If I ever run into an AFK farmer myself, you better believe that I'm going to find myself a bush and I'm going to go outside for a while. God. What a cheesed out way to get runes off of people. But this is hilarious. This is hilarious. What a great response. Steam Deck update adds per game performance settings. Really dial in those games for optimized gaming on the go. This has been an ask from the community since the Steam Deck came out, right? Valve's portable hybrid gaming PC, the Steam Deck has really hit the ground running. Despite stock issues, the little portable PC gaming console has continued to entertain those lucky enough to have one with plenty of gaming on the go. The Steam Deck still had plenty of little teething issues since launch, but most are gradually being sorted. An example are the loud fan noises, which have been helped greatly by a recent update. Another has been the speedy uptake of verified games on the machine, and many that aren't officially supported still work just fine, thanks to other fixes and tweaks. Thankfully, the updates and patches keep coming. The latest one from Valve is only categorized as a small update with some patch notes, but it comes with per game performance profiles. This is a great implementation. They should be a huge help that allows better optimized gaming, especially with this portable hardware. The note explains that this new feature can be found in the quick access menu and then navigating to performance and advanced view. From there, users should be able to alter their settings per game, which should automatically save and apply when the game is launched. This can also be toggled on or off at any time in case you've made some poor decisions in that settings menu. This gives players the power to really dial in their settings, which is a great touch on a portable console. Games that don't really benefit from full grunt can be turned down in favor of saving battery. Oh, really, Pinky? That sucks, dude. Hold on. Optimizing performance elsewhere. Whereas other games you want looking their best can keep those settings untouched. Generally speaking, this should make the Steam Deck an even better travel buddy than it already was. Yeah. There are a few other notable features in the latest update. Steam Deck will now auto-scale to a virtual 1280 by 800 resolution when connecting to a remote display, which could be handy for some users. Plus, there are multiple keyboard fixes for various regions and improved performance when switching between online and offline modes. Yeah, again, a huge issue was battery life, right? And some of the battery life issues were actually made even worse because you couldn't optimize or save a profile for what you wanted the game to be, the settings you wanted the game to be at every time you loaded it up. So it was like, if a situation came, it was like you're on the go, you know, and it was always having to go into the settings and change it to increase the battery life and stuff. And this is just a great implementation. The second and T3 Abyss. Well, I don't know, gamer. I don't know. I don't know, man. Some of it, some of the thing is, I do read fast. I do read fast. Um, Part of that is due to the fact that I don't want the news segment to last 2 to 3 hours. Yeah. So that's part of it. If I get enough feedback from people that are interested in the news segment, stating that they would prefer I slow down a little bit and they would prefer a longer news segment, which I read a little more slowly, I would definitely consider that. But at this point, I haven't had that. I haven't had any feedback like that. So I don't know, man. It's one of those issues where the channel is primarily, I enjoy doing the news very much, and I think it's good that we do the news every day. But I also don't want to take up a significant amount of our gaming time with just news, right? So it's one of those issues. I also don't want to read so slow that there are people that go, "Good night. Will you get through it, please?" Yeah. So everybody's going to have a different kind of view and opinion on how I'm addressing the news segment. Obviously, I think for you, maybe I read a little too fast, so I apologize. Um, quite often, we have a lot of articles and there's a lot of reading to do. And if I go too slow, it's going to be brutal. And here's another thing: not every single article in here is going to be interesting for everybody. So maybe I need to slow down a little bit. If that's the case, people let me know. I'll slow down a little bit. But I've got to find a good medium here to not be making this very droll and drawn out as far as, all these articles we go through every morning and it making the news segment longer than it necessarily needs to be, just because I'm trying to be actual, like, very slow in reading everything. So I don't know. I'll take what you said there as some constructive criticism and slowing down a little bit. Yeah. Rip iPod, home of the mobile gaming renaissance. Pour one out for the home of Doodle Jump, Fruit Ninja, and many more. Pour one out for every kid who once strapped a backpack in middle school, as they're likely in mourning today. With Apple's discontinuation of the 7th generation Ipod Touch announced yesterday, it's official: the iPod is dead. Ostensibly, the iPod was a music device meant to digitize song libraries and move listeners away from the limitations and galactically better sound quality of physical media. Whether such a shift was good for the music industry is, of course, another story. But over its many iterations, the iPod also heralded another revolution, that of mobile gaming. Once upon a time, mobile gaming consisted of playing brick or snake on your parents' dusty Nokia. Snake. I was just talking about Snake the other day. I loved Snake on the old school Nokia mobiles, man. And sure, following its 2001 launch, the iPod, which literally featured a shoddy port of brick, following the device's 2001 launch, had a similar landscape for a while. Over the next few years, the offerings grew, but not by much. In 2006, EA released iPod versions of minted classics like Sudoku and Solitaire. Kaplan, the for-profit educational behemoth, released a series of SAT prep study courses, to which I can only say lol. Compared to other mobile gaming devices of the era, like, say, the Nintendo DS, the iPod was hardly revolutionary. Then came the iPod Touch. First released in 2007, the iPod Touch totally reimagined the iPod's design rather than a brick with a wonkily controlled track wheel. The iPod Touch looked a lot like its contemporary, the iPhone. Sleek, rectangular, affixed with a glass touchscreen that coated its entire silhouette. Unlike the iPhone, you couldn't use an iPod Touch to summon and instantly lose the courage to dial up your crush from algebra. But if you had a Wi-Fi connection, you could download a bunch of games that at least distract you during algebra. And some of the games of the era were truly excellent. Fruit Ninja, Tap Tap Revenge, Words with Friends, Temple Run practically created or at least widely popularized a new genre, laying the groundwork for truly terrific endless runners like Alto's Odyssey. Personally, I had a soft spot for Doodle Jump, a platformer that cast you as an elephant wearing a jetpack. The visuals, stylized to look like a lined paper notebook, are inked in memory. But for me, at least, it was also an early introduction to the wider world of leaderboards. Some games, quality aside, went on to become legit cultural behemoths. Angry Birds spawned a feature film along with crossovers with Star Wars and Transformers, and a gazillion other spin-offs. The impact was undeniable. And so, news of the iPod's death set off a spirited wave of nostalgia in Kotaku's Slack this afternoon. Staff editor Lisa Marie Segarra shouted out pretty much all the games listed above, and further pointed to the iPod as a catalyst for the indisputable Candy Crush craze. She also praised the tilt controls that came with some games, which were so innovative at the time, or at least it felt like it. What a time to be alive, added staff writer Zach Zweisen. I truly miss the older era of the App Store. No doubt we have great stuff today, but I can't help but long for those simpler times when I drank fake beer and played with knockoff lightsaber apps. Oh, man. Apple's gaming ecosystem is bigger than ever as major games, everything from blockbusters like XCOM and Genshin Impact to indie sleeper hits like Sayonara Wild Hearts and Baba Is You, make their way to the App Store. Apple Arcade, a subscription service that grants access to a library of games, is slowly becoming an essential scouting ground for under the radar games. Many Apple Arcade games eventually make their way to Nintendo Switch or traditional consoles, where they become legitimized in the eyes of the hardcore player, something that goes on to obscure mobile game origins. Every time one of these once essential devices gasps its final breath, I find myself struck at the finality, how everything, no matter its apparent staying power or cultural impact, is ephemeral, a fleeting moment you don't realize was fleeting until it's gone. As they say, wouldn't it be nice to recognize you're living in the good times when you're actually living in the good times? I think so. Anyway, yep, rip the iPod. You had a good run. You've left a good legacy. And to really get all mid-2000s, thanks for the merms. The murmurs. Gamer, is that better? Is that a better reading speed, everybody? Let me know. I mean, that's the first time anybody has let me know that potentially I was reading too fast for some of our members. So I appreciate it. I'll try to do better, but I read that fast. So I have to take like an actual dedicated. It's a concentrated thing for me to slow down a little bit. So you're gonna have to let me know if that's better or not. Excuse me. Ubisoft confirms three major games it plans on releasing by March 2023. Video game publisher Ubisoft confirms three major games that it plans on releasing between now and the end of March. Ubisoft is one of the biggest third-party video game publishers in the industry, producing blockbuster releases like Assassin's Creed and Tom Clancy, as well as experimenting with new IP regularly. There are rumblings that Ubisoft may be acquired at some point in the near future. We've read about that. But it remains to be seen if that will actually take place or not. While fans wait for more information on Ubisoft's future, the company has detailed three major releases that it plans on publishing by March 31st, 2023. So basically a year from now. As revealed in Ubisoft's latest financial report, the company has three games in particular that it plans on shipping by the end of next March. Assuming there aren't any delays or other issues, Ubisoft fans can look forward to playing Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Mario Plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and Skull and Bones within the next year. For those who may not be following the games closely, Avatar is an open-world game set in James Cameron's Avatar universe. Expected to be out by the end of 2022, Avatar is being developed by the Division studio Massive Entertainment, telling a standalone story with the player taking on the role of one of the blue-skinned Na'vi people seen in the films. The long-awaited Avatar movie sequel is also expected to release in December, so it seems fans of the franchise have a lot to look forward to this year. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, meanwhile, is a Nintendo Switch exclusive turn-based strategy game and a sequel to the well-received Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. The sequel features some major gameplay shifts and new characters, so it will be interesting to see if it's as warmly embraced as its predecessors. Like Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, it's believed that Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope will launch by the end of 2022 as well. Skull and Bones, meanwhile, is a game that could very well release in the first quarter of 2023 instead, though a specific release date has yet to be nailed down. Skull and Bones is a new pirate game from Ubisoft that has been stuck in development hell for years. The latest reports indicate that Skull and Bones is finally on track, and since Ubisoft believes the game will be ready to launch before March 31st, 2023, it seems those reports are accurate. As for when fans will get to see more of these games and other Ubisoft projects for themselves, that remains to be seen. It's possible that the company will host one of its Ubisoft Forward events this summer around the Summer Games Fest festivities, but nothing has actually been announced at the time of this writing. Yeah, if I remember correctly, E3 got canceled, right? So Summer Games Fest is taking place in June. So like a month from now. We didn't get to it yesterday. We did finish what's up, Matt? We did finish the playthrough, the campaign part of Hand of Fate 2, though. So we actually we completed Hand of Fate 2, and so now today is Valheim Day 1. Yeah, we haven't gotten through Valheim at all yet. So just getting started today. What's up with you, buddy? Just in case anybody's interested, looks like they've got some gaming chair deals on Amazon coming up ahead of Prime Day. Uh, there's no need to wait for Amazon Prime Day in July to score deals on gaming chairs at Amazon. Um, while there are expensive and amazing gaming chairs out there, there are plenty of great gaming chairs on sale right now at Amazon. Compared to standard office chairs, gaming chairs typically offer more cushion, neck and lumbar support. They're more adjustable quite often. Many people prefer gaming chairs to office chairs even when they're not gaming. Gaming chairs are also really cool looking. Below are the best gaming chair deals on Amazon ahead of Amazon Prime Day. We're talking savings on brands like Respawn, GT Racing, and more. The Razer Isker X gaming chair, they just had these on sale not too long ago as well, I'm pretty sure. So $250, they're normally priced at $400. The Razer Isker X is on sale at Amazon for just $250. Nice, I'm good. Play pillar. Oh, okay. In the mood for some dying? Hey, dude, if I'm in the mood for some dying, I'm just going to go play Elden Ring from now on. That's all I did in that game. That's cool, man. Are you starting like a new playthrough or a new run, or what's going on, man? What are you doing? The steel reinforced ergonomic gaming chair is wrapped in multi-layered synthetic leather and features fully adjustable positions for recline, tilt, and height. The armrests are fully adjustable too. If it was black and orange, I would consider it. The Bada gaming chair for $179. Designed to help you sit comfortably for extended periods of time, features a thick backrest and seat cushion as well as an adjustable headrest and a lumbar support pillow. It reclines up to 155 degrees so you can sleep while gaming. I'm just kidding. So it's like 179 after coupon, reduced from 190. Okay. High back gaming chair. This is literally like a racing seat out of like a car. That's what it looks like. Don't let the low price mislead you. The super affordable gaming chair from Amazon wins high praise and 4.5 stars from Amazon reviewers. Comfort is its selling point. The chair has an adjustable lumbar support and headrest pillow. Find it in 7 colors. Uh-oh. 62 after coupon? Nice. There you go. Oh, you're working like 12-hour days right now? That's brutal, man. That's brutal. Oh, sorry, man. The thing that I would rather see right here, though, would be like armrests that can actually fold up and down rather than just stationary or static. Probably just a chill run. Cool, man. Cool. A vowed win, man. A vowed win. We need a vowed. Yeah, I mean, that's why I bring this up. My chair, I don't have a like what would be considered a gaming chair. I have a chair I got off of Amazon years ago. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know much about them either, but like I've brought it up before, and we have some people in the community that expressed that most gaming chairs actually feel really nice, and I've considered maybe getting one at some point. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this one if it's in orange. It's got to be orange, dude. I can't get one if it's not orange. You know, We just can't. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at. We brought up this issue a while back whenever there was another sale on gaming chairs, and I've always been worried about was, you know, they're always promoted as like these are really good for gaming, or for sitting at a desk for long periods of time, right? But my thing is like it's hard to decipher among these chairs which ones are actually, you know, if there's any science behind them being put together and if they are actually better than anything I'm using right now. That's always been my issue as well, man. So I don't know. I might just have to grab one at some point and see how I feel about it. Let you guys know. But I will say I would much rather have a chair where the armrests could go up and down, or at least be folded back, you know. But price was right on this one, it looks like. Oh, Pinky! Where's Pinky at? Pinky, I found your chair, dude. Auto full pink gaming PU leather high back ergonomic racing chair designed specifically for our guy Pinky. Check that noise out, dude. This is all you, buddy. This is it. With bunny ears and all, this pink gaming chair makes a statement. It has a 360-degree swivel, can be locked at any angle between 90 and 155 degrees, and has a height adjustable seat and armrest. It also boasts an adjustable lumbar pillow and head pillow. Pair it with a matching pink gaming desk, which Pinky I'm sure already has. This is you right here, dude. I can see you just rocking out, dude, in your Musketeer outfit in Lost Ark, in your Pinky's pink gaming chair. That's it, dude. I found it. You're welcome. I'm actually not convinced that you didn't help actually create this. Yeah. Respawn style reclining gaming chair, 283. Oh, look at this thing, man. Dude, I'd be falling asleep streaming in this. Dude, look at this thing. Go for a recliner and desk chair in one with this gaming chair. Its armrest has a built-in cup holder as well as a removable side pouch. The better to keep game controllers close. Reclines up to 135 degrees and has a 360-degree swivel base. GTR Racing gaming chair for 133. Oh, that's close to being orange. Is that orange? This GTR Racing gaming chair has a motorsport-inspired shape and ergonomic design. Its height is adjustable and it comes with lumbar and headrest cushions. Place it in the upright mode to work or recline it for gaming. Chair comes in 8 colors from classic black to pink. Oh, I got you. That's not real pink. That's not pinky pink. I got you. Deep. You need that deep pink. Dark Echo gaming chair for 161. Dark Echo faux leather gaming chair has a massage function. Oh, and its back reclines. It has a retractable footrest. Comes in 6 colors. So Prime Day is between July 18th through July 19th. But apparently, man, they've got a lot of sales on chairs right now. Here, I'll throw it in chat real quick in case you guys are interested. Get a look. Get a look. Cool. Cool, man. Grab 8 Steam Deck verified games for 20. If you manage to get your hands on a Steam Deck, consider checking out the latest Humble Bundle, which offers 8 Steam Deck verified games for just $20. Included in the bundle, you'll find Orcs Must Die 3, Neon Abyss, MechWarrior 5, and more. If you're not looking to drop 20, Humble is offering a $10 tier that includes Parkasaurus, Paint the Town Red, Exanima, and Orcs Must Die 2. I actually think I have that game. Yeah, Neon Abyss looks pretty cool, Metal. Yeah, I haven't ever played it, but it looks pretty neat. Yeah. roguelite, right? Regardless of which bundle you pick, you'll be able to redeem all your games through Steam and benefit from full support for Steam Deck. Well, in case anybody's interested, there you go. Some new humble bundle for Steam Deck verified games. Cool. WADA Games lawsuit filed in California over alleged deceptive activities. Gone. At WADA Games, a WADA Games lawsuit has been filed as collectors are seeking to bring the grading company to court following delays and various accusations of price manipulation, false advertising, and more. These allegations cite RICO racketeering, unfair competition law, false advertising, international misrepresentation, and more, as the company explains in a brief summary of the case. This case involves video game grading company WADA Inc. and its parent company Collectors Universe Inc. engaging in affirmative acts to manipulate the retro video game market, engaging in unfair business practices, engaging in false advertising, making false statements about the turnaround times for grading services, and failing to disclose material delays to customers. Lawsuit follows allegations made last year and restates many of them in the filing. These include that WADA Games president and CEO Dennis Kahn has been colluding with the co-founder of Heritage Auctions, Jim Halperin, in order to manipulate the retro games market through positive press and questionable ratings. Highlighted among them is that Heritage Auctions co-founder Jim Halperin was an advisory board member for WADA Games, as well as an investor, before allegedly divesting his ownership in 2021 when the company was sold. Other accusations include WADA staff getting their own games graded with the company and selling them, and reports of a number of potential conflicts of interest. Following these disclosures, the prices for the games that WADA and Heritage Auctions were selling started falling. On July 11th last year, prior to the allegations being released, a copy of Super Mario 64, graded by WADA as 9.8 A++, sold for $1.56 million through Heritage Auctions. After the allegations, a copy of the same game graded at 9.6 A++ sold for $102,000 through the same website on October 29, 2021. Much later, on April 22nd, a copy of this year, a copy of said game at the same grading level sold for $57,000. The proposed class action lawsuit seeks to include all U.S.-based individuals who made purchases from WADA Games from May 10, 2019, a class that the plaintiffs think may well exceed 10,000 individuals. They are basing that on the fact that in WADA's population report of Nintendo Entertainment System games, over 9,000 games were reported, and even with average ownership of 2 graded games each, that would be over 4,500 class members. Given this is the only system out of a multitude, the number of plaintiffs estimated seems reasonable. These questions of law and fact break down to the people involved in the lawsuit, looking to confirm whether or not WADA Games and CU were involved in a case of fraud so that they could make more money off their own sales. They allege that not only did WADA Games and CU lie to the general public, but that they were also pumping up their own market prices in order to gain a much higher profit than they previously would have seen. There are 3 named plaintiffs listed in the lawsuit: Jacob Knight, a video game collector from California; Jack Cribbs, a video game collector from Michigan; and Jason Dose, a game collector from Iowa. All 3 alleged that WADA Games took far longer than they listed to deliver the games that each plaintiff had ordered. In the case of Jacob Knight, the games took almost 2 full years to reach him after his order. What? A year longer than expected. Each of the plaintiffs had their own story on the length of that WADA Games took to deliver on their service, which also means that there's likely a much larger group of people affected by this. You can find the links that it took for each plaintiff to receive their items below. The plaintiffs are seeking monetary damages in the form of a refund that measures up to the difference between the price paid for services and the value of services received. Plaintiffs are also seeking public injunctive relief to end WADA Games' alleged deceptive business practices and prevent them from making false statements in the future. For now, we await the response from WADA Games Collectors Universe for the next step in filing their defense, and early steps likely include needing to survive a motion to dismiss and attempting to certify the class. Wow. All right. We'll probably hear more about this, and we'll try to keep up with it and see what happens. Twitter made a video game. All right. That Java. Twitter has made a video game. Perhaps more importantly, Twitter has rewritten its privacy policy to include clearer language that's moved away from legal jargon, according to the social media company. As part of that, the company has released a web game called Twitter Data Dash to help folks better understand complex parts of its privacy policy. The Twitterverse can be tricky to navigate if you don't know your way around. The description of Twitter Data Dash reads, "So we made a game to help you understand our privacy policy a little better. Welcome to Privacy City. Get your dog data safely to the park. Dodge cat ads, swim through a sea of DMs, battle trolls, and learn how to take control of your Twitter experience along the way." Wow. Twitter Data Dash is available via browser, and as the description implies, it sees a character chosen from a list of options tasked with navigating a dog named Data safely to the park. Moving between the levels seems to have a brief explanation of some privacy policy measures, but it otherwise plays out like an extremely strange platformer. To be blunt, it's also an extremely frustrating experience as a game. In general, as more than once I found myself stuck on geometry and navigating around it at all was not terribly responsive. Having spent roughly 10 minutes with Twitter Data Dash, I feel pretty confident in saying that it is perhaps the least useful way to internalize this information. Asking anyone to delve into a giant set of text about any platform's privacy policy is never going to be an easy task, but at least there's the actual information being delivered in a digestible way in Twitter's case. Twitter Data Dash feels and looks like a novelty, and to be fair, it seemingly knows exactly what it is, built to raise awareness that is more likely to raise eyebrows. All right. I don't know. Well, at least they're trying something different to get people into understanding their platform and everything. It doesn't seem like it's developed very well right now, but I don't know. Metroid Dread is now the series' best-selling video game. Metroid Dread, the awaited continuation of the mainline saga that was released on Switch, has received such a fantastic fanfare that it has become one of the best-selling games in the entire series. Well, one of is slightly off, as it really is the best-selling game in the series. This was found out during Nintendo's recent earnings call. Reported on the success of Metroid Dread before. Excuse me, sorry. However, it seems like this game has become quite popular has become quite the popular launch among fans, According to Nintendo Life, Nintendo's end-of-year financial results have confirmed that Mercury Steam's 2D entry is now the best-selling Metroid game ever. According to its life-to-date sales data, the game has sold 2.9 million units. This marks a lead of 60,000 copies ahead of the previous holder of the bestseller title, Metroid Prime. While before it was widely known that the game sold many units in the UK, it has now been confirmed that it had made the top of the list worldwide. Metroid Dread was released back in October of last year. Reviewed the game, we gave it a score of 8.8 out of 10, citing it as proof that the Metroid franchise is still ready to innovate the genre. It helped build with exciting new ideas. The game has been constantly updated after launch, with some updates bringing new difficulty modes and 3 different boss rush modes. Okay. In other news, Nintendo has recently confirmed that Bayonetta 3 is still scheduled to release in 2022. While no further news regarding the game's development has been heard, it still seems to be on point for release. Additionally, despite its chip shortage woes, the Nintendo Switch has managed to sell a total of 107.65 million consoles to date. That's a lot. When is E3? Date, time, where to stream, Summer Games Fest, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation showcases? Yeah, okay. Game reveal season is upon us once again. Even before the collapse of E3, publishers were spreading their announcements and showcases. Whew. Man, I'm really sorry. Scattershot across the summer. This has left people wondering when is E3? When are the other showcases from Xbox, Bethesda, Nintendo, PlayStation, and more? And where can I stream them? Okay, this is the Summer Games Mess event tracker. So E3 is gone. Summer Games Fest is on like what, the 8th, I think. June 9th, excuse me. Bethesda Microsoft is like on the 11th or 12th, right? Let's see that. Star Wars Celebration runs May 26th through May 29th. Summer Games Fest is on the 9th. Opening night event is Thursday, June 9th. Tribeca Games, June 10th at 3 p.m. Xbox Bethesda. We need to see some stuff about Avowed, is what we need. Who cares about Starfield? We need Avowed. June 12th at 1 p.m. PC Gaming Show, Sunday evening on June 12th. Future Game Show, Sunday, June 12th. Gamescom Opening Night Live runs August 24th through August 28th. THQ Nordic Digital Showcase will be on August 12th at 3 p.m. Nintendo Summer Showcase doesn't have a date or time yet. Nor does PlayStation. They're saying potentially in September. This is actually a really good article to keep us in the know here for the dates and times of all these things coming up. I'll also post it in chat. That way, if anybody needs that, you want to keep track of when all these events are happening so you can attend. Who knows? We might watch some of them if we can figure out whether we can co-stream it or not. We'll just watch it together. But there it is in chat if you want to bookmark that or something. All the Switch games surprise released today after the Nintendo Indie World. I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it yet. We might take a look at it at some point. I haven't been really impressed with a lot of the Nintendo Showcase stuff here lately. And but our buddy Tinwin actually watched it and let us know there wasn't anything too significant in it. So I don't know. Maybe we'll take a look. Nintendo has wrapped up its Indie World presentation, showing off a wide array of new games coming to Nintendo Switch. Most of the games are targeting release sometime this year, but as usual, Nintendo used the platform to surprise release a handful that are available today. It included some mobile games making the trip to Switch, like Mini Motorways, rhythm-based dungeon crawler Soundfall, even a demo for the card cheating game Card Shark. You can check out the full list of released games below. Soundfall, Mini Motorways, Gibbon, Beyond the Trees, Opus, Echo of Star Song, Card Shark. Okay. We've got another game we're going to look at real quick if you're interested. Here's this article if you want to look at the games that came out in the Indie Showcase yesterday. Nintendo Showcase's standout Gunbrella Gunbrella has the best new video game name of 2022. Action-adventure side-scroller featuring an umbrella that doubles as a gun. Slated for 2023 release.
Nintendo recently hosted their
Just show me the game, man. All right. Okay. Well, Gumbrella didn't look bad. Looked all right. Nintendo says this should be the last article today. If anybody has anything else we need to cover, let me know, and we'll get to it after we finish this article, okay? Nintendo says the transition to its next console is a major concern for us. The company wants to alleviate the risk of resetting its user base, says Furukawa. Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa has said the company's eventual transition away from Nintendo Switch to its next hardware platform is a major concern for the company. Speaking during a Japanese investor Q&A this week, translated by VGC contributor Robert Stefazan, Furukawa said the company planned to alleviate the risks of resetting its 100 million plus user base by building long-term relationships with its users, partly via Nintendo accounts by using its IP outside of gaming. Furukawa was replying to a question about how Nintendo has been able to maintain a strong game release schedule 6 years into Switch's life cycle, and what his thoughts were on transitioning to its next hardware platform. In its recent history, Nintendo followed up its big successes such as Wii and DS with significantly less popular successors Wii U and 3DS. And Furukawa said the company was mindful of these experiences. We have already announced a portion of our software roadmap releasing up to next spring. Unlike the past, we continue to have a large variety of games scheduled to be released, even beyond 5 years of release. This is because the Switch has had such a smooth launch, allowing us to focus all of our development resources on a single platform. However, the question of whether we will be able to just as smoothly transition from the Nintendo Switch to the next generation of hardware is a major concern for us. Based on our experiences with the Wii, Nintendo DS, and other hardware, it is very clear that one of the major obstacles is how to easily transition from one hardware to the next. To help alleviate this risk, we're focusing on building long-term relationships with our customers. While we will continue launching new software on the Switch, we will also provide services that also use Nintendo accounts and other IP outside of gaming software. We intend for this to help build a lasting impact with our customers. Furukawa previously appeared to hint that some form of backwards compatibility could be utilized for its next game console in order to maintain and expand Switch's audience of 100 million plus users. Speaking to investors in February, the president said of Nintendo's next-gen console plans, there are currently nearly 100 million annual playing users, and going forward, it is important to consider how we can maintain and expand on that number. This will also be essential when we consider our plan for the next hardware platform. On Tuesday, Nintendo announced Switch hardware sales of 23.06 million for its fiscal year ended March 2022, bringing lifetime sales to 107.6 million. The figure brings the company closer to beating PS2's record 155 million, but it still represents a 20% decline on the previous year when Switch sales peaked at 28.83 million units. Officially, the company has said it believes Switch is still in the middle phase of its life cycle, and that it's seeking a 6th year of growth aided by the new OLED model. Nintendo stated last May that investment in Switch's successor had contributed to a record annual research and development spend at the company. And during its financial results briefing in November, the company said it was still internally discussing the concept and launch timing for its next gaming system. Furukawa also discussed Nintendo's approach to developing and launching new gaming hardware in a Nikkei interview paywall published last February. The hardware and software development teams are in the same building, communicating closely and thinking about how we can propose new forms of entertainment, he said. In order to create a single piece of hardware, we have to do a lot of preparation several years in advance, so we are working without stopping. In the end, the deciding factor in whether or not to commercialize a product is whether it can create a new experience. We've heard a little bit about there was some stuff that came out recently regarding Breath of the Wild 2, and some people that saw it wondered whether it was actually being developed for their next-gen console and was just going to be downscaled for the Switch. There was a lot of things they saw graphically in the game, apparently, that made them come to the conclusion that some of the stuff they saw wouldn't be able to be played on a Switch, just wasn't actual potential Switch graphic stuff. So there's a thought that they already know what this new console is and what it's running with and stuff like that. But we'll just have to pay attention and see. If there's nothing else, we'll be getting to our Valheim play. Yeah, day 1 of Valheim. I'm excited. Tree chopping simulator, according to our buddy Pinky. To everybody that's part of this, always thank you. If you are viewing this on YouTube as a VOD and you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and leave me a comment so we can maybe discuss some of what we went over today, okay? Also, see if you can come hang out with us when we do these live every day at 0600 CST. And then move on to our gaming segment and have some good times together, okay? Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind, and we will catch you tomorrow for our next gaming segment, all right?